Welcome, everybody, to another episode, a special episode, a super episode of the Amateur Experts podcast. We are experts about absolutely nothing. I'm Landon Oliver, your host, with my co host, Andrew Scott, joining with our resident third wheel, Lanny Holeman. How's, uh,
Uh,
how's everybody doing today, man?
Good, man.
Pretty good.
It feels good to
Good.
be here on a Friday night instead of a Monday night. We got, must be something super special going on.
Yeah, it's a pretty big occasion, as you know everybody listening to this could probably figure out this is our Super Bowl show. We're going to go really in depth, with our picks and give you some kind of props that we think could really play out, and maybe some betting odds as well. I know I've got some money thrown down on a few different little things here and there. So if you know me, that's how I roll. And then we can kind of touch on, we've got the individual awards that we're going to go over, as well as some of these trade rumors going around. So let's just go ahead and get this kicked off. So we've got Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, 1-1 in the Super Bowl.
Nobody else is playing.
Nobody else plays. It's just 1-1, like all football games. It's just quarterback versus quarterback.
Right.
So let's just get down to it. What do you guys think about this matchup? How's this going to play out?
Lanny, you're our guest, so you go first. Give us your prediction.
Lanny's first.
All right. As far as like who I think, I'm pulling for the probably the Buccaneers, just because I don't really want. Like I was telling Andrew earlier, I was like, I don't really want to go through another off season of is he better than, is he the Michael Jordan of football now, or is he better than Tom? And
is he God?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, but
He might be, maybe his son. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, I'm gonna take the Bucks. I'll shoot a little score out there. I'll go.
Oh, we getting scores already? Okay.
Oh yeah. We're dropping scores and everything. Yeah.
I'll go 35-31 Tampa Bay.
I like it.
Taking the over too. I like it.
Yeah, so if you don't want to hear another offseason about like how Mahomes is like Jesus, and do you really want to hear another like offseason about how Tom Brady is God?
Right. That's what they've been talking about, is GOAT versus baby GOAT.
Which
for this
I don't
Super
think people
Bowl.
understand what GOAT means. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, considering it's the greatest of all time isn't exactly Pearl.
Yeah, there's one person,
but yeah,
and it's not a spoiler. It's not a quarterback. I'll tell you that. If you want the greatest football player of all time, it's not a quarterback. So I'm just saying.
Okay, so
Lanny.
Who do I think? Who do I think's the greatest football player of all time? Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
Just
give it a few more years and you'll be able to say Aaron Donald. But hey, we're talking about the Super Bowl, so
we can get into this later.
So Lanny, you got the Bucks winning. So who's your Super Bowl MVP then? Is it Brady, or does somebody from the defense get it, or how's that shaking out?
I'm just gonna go with Tom.
If they score that many points, I think it would be tough for him not to.
I mean, unless you're talking like somebody getting 3 touchdowns in the first half, or
it's not always a quarterback though. The last time the Patriots beat the Rams in the Super Bowl, Edelman got it. It was only like 13-3 or something like that. Edelman had like 100 and something receiving yards. So I mean, if it's a low scoring game like that, there's always a chance that a receiver or a pass rusher or somebody like their a corner, if they get a couple of picks, could get it. But if it goes the way Lanny sees it, with it being with them hitting the over, there's no shot that I was
going to say, like, if you think this is going to be a low scoring game.
Yeah. I'm not taking the over is really high, but I still kind of want to take it. We'll talk about that too later. But okay,
and him having 3 receivers, I don't see him like any one of them going off in the first half like that.
So, to your point with receivers going off, whenever I was looking at who I thought would win, it was really hard for me. These guys played in week 12, and Tyreek had 13 receptions, 269 yards, and 3 touchdowns against the Bucks. Just
in like one quarter,
a couple months ago. Yeah, and he did that in damn near in the first half.
Yeah,
which granted the Buccaneers defense stepped up in the second half. and played a little bit better. The game ended up being, closer. Tom picked it up in the second half. I think they only ended up winning by like 3 or something like that. But it's just hard to get that out of my head, man. And like I still think, even though they might be playing better now than they were then, I still think that their secondary is very beatable. Definitely as far as, are you going to run the ball against them or pass against them? You're definitely going to pass against them. Clyde in the rest of the running game didn't really have much success in week 12, which granted, nobody really had any success against Tampa running the ball this year. And I don't think they will in the Super Bowl either. And I don't think it's going to matter. Honestly, I think that Mahomes and Kelsey and Tyreek are going to all have some games. I think they're all going to put up numbers. And as much, their left tackle, right, is going to be out, and
they have two tackles out, right?
Yeah, I think their right tackle has been out for a little bit, I think.
Yeah, and they're missing another guy, I think, too. I think they're down 3 starters on their O-line.
I think one of their interior linemen popped up on the COVID list because of
contact
tracing.
That was their center, but
I think he's
their guards
good.
is missing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just knew about the tackles, but the Bucks got really good edge rushers, so that kind of fit, like, that the weakness for Kansas City hurts.
We saw like a big thing last week with Vita Vea as well.
Yeah, him coming back is huge in the interior. He's been so good this year whenever he was healthy. But I don't know. And the thing with, like, I want to see so bad. I just want to see a Mahomes Brady shootout, like 40 points apiece, just like so much fun to watch. But the reality is, man, the Chiefs defense has been, especially their corners, have been really good against the pass for like 2 straight years now. Like, if you play daily fantasy, that you don't want wide receivers that are playing the Chiefs in your DFS lineups. And granted, the Bucks have 3 really, really good receivers, so one of them's bound to do something. But like, I think this is going to be a big Gronk game. I think the Brady Gronk connection, because the Chiefs can be beaten at the tight end position, and Brady and Gronk have that connection already, and then having that to where, like, you have more luck targeting that position. But I think the Bucks are just going to need to try to run the ball with Ronald Jones and play off Fournette, which is Lanny. Apparently a thing now. I don't know, man. It's so wild. He went from left to dead to playoff running back Hall of Famer.
From Jacksonville to the Super Bowl, baby.
Yeah. It's so crazy, man. Fournette and Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, they were all kind of left for dead. Now they're all playing in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
How mad are you if you're a Steelers fan and you get to watch Antonio Brown and Bell play the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's crazy. Awesome. So I think that they're going to need, they're going to need to run the ball and try to keep Mahomes and that offense on the sideline as much as possible. But the way I got it, so long story short, I got Chiefs 31, Bucks 27. And if the Chiefs do score 31, I got Mahomes as the Super Bowl MVP. That's how I got it going down.
Gotcha, man. So like, I've been going back and forth on this. So I've got money down on the Chiefs, just because like I got Chiefs outright win with Mahomes Super Bowl MVP at plus 350 like 2 weeks ago, and so like I'm going to take those odds. But man, so if you think about this, and maybe this is just me being like a complete conspiracy theorist, which it is what it is. It's Tom Brady in the playoffs. The Chiefs have already had a COVID scare. Who knows what's going to happen between now and Sunday? Andy Reid's son got like on an Adderall alcohol fueled crash, and like now there's like, not to make light of the situation, like, because
that's a terrible situation.
Yeah, there's a terrible situation involving like a kid being on.
Apparently 2 kids were injured in the accident. I don't know if both of them are serious, but
life-threatening injuries or something,
like to a 5-year-old, which is awful. And obviously if he is found intoxicated.
So is this Andy Reid's son? Son Eric Reid.
Yeah, I think he's the outside linebacker.
No, it's not
coach,
Eric
or just
Reid.
linebacker.
Eric Reid's
my bad. Safety. He's a DB.
I think his name's like Brett Reid or something like that.
Brian,
I don't know.
Brett, something like that. But he's already lost one son. He had a son pass away, I know.
Yeah, that's right.
This is another one. He's had some trouble with substances, but I mean, he's a Chiefs coach, like assistant coach somewhere on the Chiefs roster. But So you got that situation going down 2 days before the Super Bowl. You've got the COVID scare. Like, we all know how this ends, right? Like, you know how this ends. Like, Patrick Mahomes is like, there's a very good shot Mahomes gets COVID the day of the Super Bowl. Like, it's like Brady's got to play Taylor Heineke. He got to play the corpse of Drew Brees. And then he threw 3 interceptions and somehow won in Lambeau against Aaron Rodgers. Like,
you're leaving out a lot of pro Brady comments in that situation too, but that's
Well, no, I'm not saying anything negative. I'm just saying, like, this is like, it feels like destiny, right? Like, this feels like destiny. Like, his first year away from Bill, all the talk about, like, is he a system quarterback? Is it Bill? All this. And here we go, like, motherfuckers in the Super Bowl, like, his first year, like, which granted, like, it's a really good
to make the world burn with system head coach memes. Yeah. If Brady wins the Super Bowl and Belichick
so I mean, like, this is not feel like destiny. Like, Mahomes is not going anywhere. And I mean, honestly, like, at this rate, Brady's playing till he's 60 and he's probably in another Super Bowl. But, you know, he's 43. He's maybe on his last legs. I don't know. He doesn't seem to be, but the dude's 43. Mahomes
it has
is
to
still
happen
young.
Eventually.
Like, yeah, Mahomes could go legit like another 15 years. Like, this is like, this just seems like destiny. So, like, even though, like, my money is on the Chiefs, I think the Bucks are gonna win.
Are you gonna do it? You're gonna pick the Bucks?
I'm picking the Bucks. I'm picking the Bucks. And they, you know, and I can't tell you why. I can't tell you like Lanny, like, it's just like, oh, it's the receivers, they're gonna go off, or like with you, like, playoff Lenny. Like, I don't think it's any of that shit. I think it's just, I think Tom Brady has a horseshoe stuck up his ass, and it's just something's gonna happen. Like, I don't know what it is, but something's gonna happen. Whether it's somebody lining offsides by 2 inches and propelling him to a win, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like, it's just a feeling I get. And like, it's so impossible for me to go against Tom Brady in the playoffs.
It's tough. Yeah.
Like, unless Tom Brady is playing a Manning for a championship game, I'm not picking against him because he can't beat Mannings in title games. But regardless, it's I don't know. I'm picking the Bucks. And I can't, like.
So with your whole conspiracy, does that mean that Brady, of course, has to get the MVP, right? That Super Bowl MVP, that's got to be Tom Brady, right?
Well, yeah, he's a quarterback. It doesn't matter.
Oh, like, it does matter.
I mean, no, we saw last year Mahomes threw 2 interceptions. Darrell Williams took over the fourth quarter and, like, single-handedly propelled them to that win.
Damian
Williams in the fourth quarter, and they still gave it to Mahomes.
Well,
I mean, it's going to go.
They won that game because Mahomes was
to the quarterback of the winning team. 99.9% of the time, it's going to be the Super Bowl MVP. And, like, really, man, like, you know, I can see like a wild card like being Super Bowl MVP, like Jason Pierre-Paul or like one of those guys. Like,
yeah, I mean, with the tackles out, man, if one of them edge rushers get going, I mean,
boy, they got some edge rushers on them too. Like, they got some juice. Like, they're
gonna have to sack him. I mean, that's.
Yeah, but I mean,
he can't do this.
Like, I mean, they just had like 4 sacks last week against Rodgers, right?
Oh yeah, they marked Green Bay's line, and Green Bay, you know, they were out with injuries too, like some linemen. But that's the thing about Mahomes, though. Like, Nick Bosa was the Super Bowl MVP for 3.5 quarters last year, and then like I said, like, Damian Williams just basically took over in that fourth quarter. But
Mahomes played some pretty good ball in that fourth quarter, though.
I'm not saying he played bad, but I'm just saying, like, as far as like the MVP goes, like, he threw 3.
I mean, you're not alone. I saw a lot of people calling for Damian Williams to win the MVP after that.
And that's like, to this day, like, I get shit from other Colts fans because whenever we beat the Bears, I thought Dominique Rhodes should have won the Super Bowl MVP that game because Peyton Manning didn't play all that well in that game, and Dominique Rhodes dominated, and they still gave it to Peyton Manning. And to this day, I will say Dominique Rhodes was the Super Bowl MVP of that game. But it's a quarterback thing. So, like, whichever quarterback of the winning team, that's who's going to win Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, more often than not, that's you know, that's it.
So I'm going to say.
So hold on.
As high scoring as what people think it's going to be. I think and it's supposed to look, it's supposed to pour down
I
rain.
was no, I was looking at that before you joined us. The most recent forecast, at least from what I could find, was that there was a 50% chance of rain in the afternoon, but it went down to like 10% around game time. So there's a decent chance that the rain subsides by the time game time gets here. But
but the field.
Well, surely to God they would have enough sense to have the tarp covering the field, up
Dude,
until the last second they're able to.
It's Brady.
Maybe I'm sure there'll be a tarp gate after this game where news comes out that
exactly.
Brady paid the tarp.
Gate.
Brady paid the tarp guy to pull it off 2 hours earlier, and
and then Mahomes walks out for warm-ups and slips and tears his ACL.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, no, let's not. No, yeah. He has a high ankle sprain and he's out for the game.
That was just a joke, by the way. Before everybody jumped on me saying you said Mahomes was going to get injured. You're hoping for that. Because I know how y'all take shit out of context on here.
I was just going to say this when you brought up the Colts Bears game. Can you imagine Super Bowl MVP Rex Grossman?
Yeah, that Super Bowl MVP of that would have been fucking would have been.
That sounds gross, man.
Yeah. Okay, Louis.
Devin Hester.
Yeah. I've kind of.
I need to record a rap album now. Super Bowl game that I walked out on after the first play of the game. Devin Hester I was talking to some guy about that earlier.
Hester had that crazy ass return to kick the game off.
You had to kick the game off. Devin Hester takes it 100 yards.
Oh my God.
I immediately, everybody's it's like every eye in the room of that Super Bowl party just shifted to me, and I just got up and walked out of the room. I walked outside and I said, "Don't talk to me," and I waited for about 10 minutes before I came back in, and then I saw Peyton Manning, he hit that bomb to Reggie Wayne shortly thereafter, and then it was on cruise control basically the rest of that game.
So I'm the only one picking the favorites to win the game. You guys got the upset.
My money is on the Chiefs.
Right.
But my heart belongs to Tom Brady. Tom Brady.
I needed Aaron here more than I thought I would, man. Would shout out for some reason. So our resident Chiefs fan that is a friend of ours and a listener of the show. Thank you for listening and for dropping the comments in our sleeper chat. I love one of my favorite things about recording this show is the next morning I get to open up Sleeper and see he live chats in Sleeper as he's listening, and I love reading it, man. It's so cool. But
man, I wish he was on here too, because I had them for some reason comments pulled up.
For some reason, he thinks it's more important to switch his shifts to make he switched shifts with a guy at work to work tonight to make sure he was off for Sunday for the Super Bowl. And as a Chiefs fan, for some reason, he thought it was more important to be off for the Super Bowl than to be off to be on this show. I can't understand that decision at all. I mean, clearly being on this show is more important than watching.
Well, it's not like they're not going to be right back in the Super Bowl next year too. You can watch them again.
Right. We don't all have that luxury. But I didn't think I'd need him here to to defend my Chiefs pick. I figured that I would be the majority, not the minority here. But it's all right though. I'm just gonna my lead in the NFL pick'em is just gonna go higher after this game, so it'll be cool.
It's okay though, because I'm doing the Skip Bayless thing, like he likes to call me, the Skip Bayless thing or whatever. Even though I bring nothing but facts, I don't.
Skip.
Yeah.
Shannon Sharp voice.
So I'm doing the Skip Bayless thing where I've got my money and I'm saying the Chiefs are going to win. I'm like, oh well, I've got my money on the Chiefs, but I'm picking the Bucks. So either way,
you're kind of hedging your bet though. It's kind of boring. Yeah. That's not Skip. Skip is all in. So you're really not being Skip right now, because Skip is just pedal to the metal, fuck everybody else's opinion. This is what's gonna happen. That ain't no guess. That's what it's gonna be. So now you're hedging your bets, and now it's So, but I like it. I like being the only one to pick the Chiefs. So, okay. So I got the Chiefs. I got Mahomes. You guys got. We didn't get your score. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. So I don't think it's going to be as high scoring, because I think there's just going to be some fluky shit that happens. I think it's going to end up being, it's like everybody predicted the New England and the Rams game to be some shootout.
Oh yeah, it was supposed to be a shootout. Yeah.
And it was, what was it?
13-3. Yeah. It was 3-3.
So I've got Tampa Bay 17, Chiefs 10. Which means, now that I've said that and I've put that out there in the universe, if you are betting, you have to take the over at this point because that's going to be the score within the first 15 minutes.
I've seen a lot of people saying to bet the under, just because of how high the over is.
What's it at?
Like 56, I think, something like that. Like both teams damn near have to
So
hit
30 to 26.
So but I like just as a fan of football and watching the game, I hate betting the under because like I don't want to bet money on the under and then like rooting for teams not to score. Like that sucks. Like I want to bet on teams to hit the over and just give me points, so that part kind of sucks. But okay, so Landon's got the Bucks and Brady because those are the only people playing. Lanny's got the Bucks and Brady because that's the only guy playing, and then I got the Chiefs and Mahomes because in a 1v1, Mahomes is. I think after this game, I think the big headline after the Super Bowl is going to be Mahomes and Andy Reid is the new Belichick and Brady. That's going to be like on the front of all the newspapers and all that shit.
So I think the headline after this game, depending on what happens if the Chiefs win, will be, is Mahomes the new GOAT? That's what's going to say. Is he the new GOAT? And because it's not about what's happened before. It's not like Tom Brady's won
what have you done
6
for me
other
lately?
Super Bowls. It's about what happened this year, which according to this
year. Oh,
you
mean switch teams and then go back to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Take a team.
If he doesn't win,
take a team that finished 7-9 the year prior, and basically the entire roster is the same, other than Brady and Antonio Brown, and you go from 7-9 to Super Bowl.
They got what Antonio Brown went until like week 8, was it?
Something like that. They got what, Landon?
They got Gronk.
Well, yeah, Gronk really didn't make an impact much during the regular season either, outside of some games. But him being on the field is
his
important.
Blocking made a huge difference.
Oh yeah, he's such a great blocking tight end. But yeah, I mean, if you flip flop, I love Jameis. I've been a Jameis supporter for years now. But I mean, if you flip flop him back, even with the changes that were made, and eat them W's, baby. They're probably only going to eat like one more W than they did the year prior if they've got Jameis instead of Brady, So I mean, it's just, I think it's just incredible, man. I mean, truly watching this guy, 40-something years old, new team.
He threw 40 touchdowns.
Like, it's incredible. It's
stupid.
I was talking to somebody about that. My guy Justin Anderson last night with him and LeBron. Like it's one thing to stick around in your respective league and like just like make a career and like you're a role player and you're 15, you're 16, whatever.
Like Phillip Rivers.
Like, yeah, exactly. But to be that deep in your career and still being talked about as like, man, this guy might win MVP. This guy might be the best player in the league right now. Like not the best player ever, but like just right now in the league, all these guys that are 10, 15 years younger than you, and you're still talked about as possibly the best player in the league. Like it makes no sense.
Like, are you taking Tom Brady or are you taking Russell Wilson?
Right.
You're probably taking Brady.
That's a discussion that needs to be had, and it's one that you wouldn't think should because of everything considered, all age and everything considered. Like it's nuts, man. It's just
what if Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl this year, I'm throwing away all the meat in my fridge. I'm buying strictly avocados for like the next 20 years. That's all I'm eating.
Yeah.
Avocado ice cream and kale salads.
It's crazy, man.
Is he a vegan?
Yeah, he's on that strict all vegan diet. Yeah.
That TB12 method, baby.
Yeah. Okay. So the less exciting thing now, because now we're talking about regular season, and the only thing that matters is the playoffs, baby. We talk about the playoffs. But so the regular season awards get announced tomorrow afternoon-ish. The NFL Honors Show, I think, is tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening. So
yeah, but they'll probably leak. So
yeah, they always do. It's just like a piece of paper, like somebody's like holding a piece of paper against their pants, but you can see the first 3 letters of the last name, sitting out and stuff.
AAR.
Ron, just as a spoiler. So I mean, let's talk about the the big 3. So for as far as MVP goes, I got
the rookies.
Do what?
So we'll hit rookies too.
I think those are kind of. I think all of these might be unanimous, to be honest. But I think those really are going to be unanimous. But we'll see. So we'll start at the top. We can work our way down to the rookies, but we'll start at the top with the MVP. We'll just make this easy. Does anybody not have Aaron Rodgers winning it? I'm gonna take that silence as we're all going Rodgers.
Crickets.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's I think if it's not Rodgers, it's Mahomes, but I think it is Rodgers. I mean, 4,300 yards, 48 touchdowns. How do you throw almost 50 touchdowns and you only throw 5 picks? 70% completion percentage.
But Andrew,
The voice of public opinion, I like it. We're pulling from the footballers.
Well, no,
now.
I didn't go that high pitched. This is just this is the voice of like idiotic opinion. But Andrew, Patrick Mahomes is Jesus. Then how is Aaron Rodgers win MVP? Does that mean he's better?
He is the regular. At least in the regular season, he is the Lord. I mean, look, Rodgers had 4,300 yards. Mahomes had 4,700. But Rodgers had 10 more touchdowns, 1 less pick, and he did have higher completion percentage. And just regular season wise,
he didn't have Andy Reid.
Yeah, which Matt LaFleur, man, he hasn't been doing too bad, for himself. He's no Andy Reid, but he's been doing all right for himself his first couple of years as a head coach. But yeah, I think it's Rodgers, man. From the crickets that I got from whenever I asked if anybody disagreed, I think we all have got Rodgers for that one. So the awards, usually for the most part, the awards are pretty easy, but it's still fun to talk about, just to kind of get to reflect on the year. So. Yeah. I better hear crickets for this next one. If I don't, we're going to have some problems. But defensive player of the year, is it not Aaron Donald?
No,
I'm still split. It's either TJ or him.
I got TJ Watt.
I'm still 50-50.
Okay, so I got to say fuck both of you guys tonight. That's not what I saw coming. But hey, here we are. Let's do it.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying what. Look. Aaron Donald has reached LeBron thing where
that's what I said earlier.
Bored. Lanny said that before we hit record, before you joined us.
Like they're just bored of it. Like obviously Aaron Donald's the most valuable defensive player in the league, but numbers wise, which we all know, numbers means you've made a greater impact than if you don't have any numbers, for all you football fans out there. So if you record 0 tackles and 0 sacks, you had no impact on the football game.
You mean the Titans defense?
Their whole defense as a whole put out those numbers.
But
they didn't tackle anybody all game.
Obviously Aaron Donald's the best defensive player in the league. But
he did
I think TJ Watt's going to win it just because the sack numbers and pressure numbers.
So Watt did have 1.5 more sacks than Donald, which Watt and Donald do not play the same position, which I know you guys know that. I'm not talking to you guys, and I'm not talking to most people know that, but I just want to make sure that is out there in the air. So Aaron Donald playing mostly they have started to move Donald around a little bit, but the large majority of Donald's snaps come as an interior defensive lineman. Had 13.5 sacks, 1.5 less than Watt, but the man was double teamed on over 70% of his snaps. Triple team more than anybody in the league, and he still had 20 plus more pressures than the second closest interior defensive lineman. Had 20 plus more pressures on being double teamed 70% of the time. He had 26 quarterback hits, 14 tackles for loss, 4 forced fumbles. And if you look at, I wish I could credit the guy. I mean, there's only like 5 people that are going to listen, so it's not that big of a deal that I don't credit him. But there's a guy that tracks double team rate versus pass rush win rate and on Twitter, and it pops up on Bleacher Report for me. I wish I could remember his name, but he had the highest double team rate. He was double team more than any defensive lineman in football, and he still had the highest pass rush win rate. So like, even though he was being double teamed more than anybody in the league, he was still winning on more of his reps than anybody in the league. And so, hey, who you got winning the Super Bowl?
Is that Borf?
Who you got winning the Super Bowl?
Definitely not Brady.
All right, so Brady's yeah. So Borf works up here. He works down the street cooking some hibachi. And so on Friday nights he comes through and stays with me so that he didn't have to stay in this terrible ass chef house that they got up there for him. But anyway, so obviously I'm picking Aaron Donald to win Defensive Player of the Year. And just before we close, before we move on, I get a chance to talk about Aaron Donald and I don't want to stop. So Pro Football Focus, as much as people want to poo-poo on them. So the highest graded season by a defender since 2006.
Pro Football Focus.
Yeah, PFF. Yeah.
Oh, those are the guys that had Jared Goff rated higher than Stafford last year, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Poo-poo. Yeah. So
I just want to get that out there before you.
Yeah. So poo-poo on those guys. Yeah. So the highest graded defender since 2006, right? So the 4 highest graded seasons they've had since 2006: Aaron Donald in 2018, Aaron Donald in 2017, Aaron Donald in 2020, Aaron Donald in 2019. And then Aaron Donald has 456 pressures since 2016. So 456 is 2016. The next closest interior defensive lineman has 302. So we're talking about 456 to 302. I got another fun one in my phone that I took a photo of months ago that was pretty cool. All right, so Aaron Donald has 85 and a half sacks in his first 7 seasons. Only 2 players have more: Reggie White and DeMarcus Ware, both edge rushers. Both of those are edge rushers. Okay, so we're talking about, so for comparison, Geno Atkins, who we know is an incredible defensive interior lineman, he's a great pass rusher. He has 75 and a half sacks over his 11-year career. So in 7 years, Donald has 10 more than Geno Atkins has in his career. Like, so I just, anytime I get a chance to talk about how incredible Aaron Donald is, I don't want to leave it short. But yeah, so that's Aaron Donald's my defensive player of the year. He's my defensive player of the decade. He's a defensive player of my life. He's a defensive player of my heart. And I could keep going on, but for the sake of time, that's Aaron Donald's defensive player of the year.
Where y'all going on the 14th?
Where are we going, like for Valentine's Day?
You and Aaron.
Yeah. I'll probably take him out for a nice dinner. Hopefully he'll pay though.
Yeah. You about made me cry by talking about him.
I'm telling you, man, I could talk about him all day long and never get tired about it. It's been such a pleasure to get to watch him play football. And
what happened was it wasn't unanimous, and that fire just really boiled up real fast.
Yeah, I already had all the notes written down, but I didn't plan on having to defend it. I get where you guys are coming from, though. I do get the stats argument is what mostly drives these picks, So I mean, I get what you guys are saying, but there's no way in hell I'm not picking Aaron Donald. Like, come on,
So speaking of stats argument, offensive player of the year. What are we looking at here? Who you guys got?
Lanny, I'm gonna let you go first, man, because I think I know where we're heading with this one.
El Tracto, Big Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I just think I think it doesn't matter who the regular MVP is, and because obviously that's a quarterback award. But I just think anytime you rush for 2,000 yards, I mean.
So that's what we need to talk about, right? Is MVP has basically turned in who was the best quarterback of the year, and then offensive player of the year is basically in place for, hey, who was the best non-quarterback on the offensive side of the football?
Basically, yeah.
That's basically what we're talking about here. So we already talked about who the best quarterback in the regular season was. So now,
which isn't wrong. I mean, like, if you're building
quarterback's the most important position.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're definitely taking Aaron Rodgers over Derrick Henry.
Right. So offensive player of the year, Lanny's got Derrick Henry. Landon, do you disagree?
No.
You're gonna give it to the division rival. I love it. I agree too. This one's easy. This one's boring. Derrick Henry gets it. I mean, come on. It's like he rushed for 2,000 yards. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's the one dude. Like I try to poke holes and like I do like with Brady and Mahomes and like all these other like quarterbacks that I can poke holes in. But like I'm trying to look at Derrick Henry and poke holes, and I'm just like, shit. He's fucking good.
While we're on the Titans, real quick, I want to hit you with this live.
Like me?
Yeah, you.
Oh,
yeah.
This
me and you had a really fun fantasy debate back and forth at the end of last episode about Matthew Stafford versus Ryan Tannehill next year for fantasy. And you said that you would probably take Ryan Tannehill right now over Stafford. So you want to do a live water bet, Stafford, Tannehill? We'll see. Assuming no injury clause.
In the immortal words of Bill O'Reilly, fuck it, we'll do it. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
We'll do it live.
All right, cool. I got it down. Our first show water bet.
I still owe you for that Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson one.
Oh, the God.
Yeah, I was 1 year short of that argument. Because
Yeah.
you would have done the same thing, I would have killed you this year.
Yeah, me and Blake did the same bet this year, but luckily we had an injury clause, and and Godwin missed. He had like 3 different injuries this year that made him miss some games. So
I should have had a Trubisky clause.
yeah, for real. Okay, all right, we got our first official podcast water bet, so I got that. I'll get that down. Okay, so offensive player of the year was easy. So I wasn't going to bring up the rookie one because I feel like we would be unanimous, but we weren't unanimous on defensive player of the year, so who knows? So I mean, offensive and defensive rookie of the year, I got
so on this one. It's going to be unanimous. I think. I don't think it should be unanimous.
Okay, well we can. So Justin Herbert and Chase Young, right?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Yes.
Lanny, do you disagree with either one of those?
Who was the second one?
Justin Herbert for offensive rookie of the year. Chase Young for defensive rookie of the year.
I'd probably go Chase Young, but I was leaning more towards 2 other people for rookie of the year. But
yeah, and one of those guys that you're probably leaning toward should absolutely win it over Justin Herbert.
We're going to talk about Justin Jefferson, aren't we?
We are going to talk about Justin Jefferson.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I wasn't even going that either.
Well, goddamn, who are you going with?
My 2 other than the ones you listed was Jefferson and then Jonathan Taylor. But
JT shouldn't get it. He started too slow.
Yeah, that's the only thing going against him. If he would have come out the gates,
if you were doing offensive rookie of the year for week 10 and after,
if you were doing like offensive rookie of the last quarter of the year,
I was still sucked into the what have you done for me lately, and like the last 2 games when I watched him, I was like, okay, man, you're good.
Yeah, that's
but
like, dude, that jersey Justin is on pre-order.
Anytime you break a Randy Moss record as a rookie.
Yeah, that's a problem, man.
Yeah, dude had 1,400 yards and like double, like.
And he didn't do shit the first 2 weeks of the year. Like he basically did what he did on a 14-game season. Like they weren't even involving him the first 2 games of the year.
Yeah, just imagine, you know who almost like led the NFL in red zone targets this year? Adam Thielen. So imagine if he got the red zone work that Thielen got.
Well, but part of the reason that he didn't is because of how great Adam Thielen is at getting open in those areas. It's not a knock to Justin Jefferson. It's just like, hey,
which is also
Adam Thielen is just really damn good too.
That's right, Kirk Cousins, baby.
Yeah, he put up 200 yards against us in a loss.
We
can do another water bet if you want to.
Well, it depends. If Kirk Cousins gets traded, this doesn't count.
Yeah.
But
in the current situations they're in, you want Cousins over. We should say this too. I'm basing this off our main 12-team dynasty league scoring, right?
What do you like? Oh, like our quarterback dynasty league, 6-point quarterback scoring.
Right. That's what I'm like. I would be using our 12-team league to track all this shit.
Yes. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure. Okay. Yeah. I'll take both of those. Yeah, I'll take Stafford over Cousins and Tannehill. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Fantasy.
All right.
Now, real world, I would rather have Matthew.
Yeah. Fantasy.
So what are y'all
doing? Not the same.
Unless you're PFF, because then
who has more what?
Per PFF, Kirk Cousins
more total points. Assuming both quarterbacks play the same amount of games.
Yeah.
And Kirk for this sake for Cousins, want to assume because Cousins has been in some trade rumors. Assuming Cousins doesn't get traded, which, hey, we're professionals here. We do segues. That was a segue. If you didn't catch that, we're talking about some trade rumors now. So, so we've got some, since the last time we talked, we have some more trade rumors that have been going around. Some involving one of my draft loves, Carson Wentz, a guy that I have been very big on. We've got Carson Wentz, we've got Derek Carr, and we've got Kirk Cousins that have all been involved in trade rumors, none of which you'll notice we did not mention Deshaun Watson because it has been very quiet on that front lately, but everybody else has been. I'll just say I'm really thankful that the Rams jumped on the Matthew Stafford.
So it's been sort of quiet on that front. I did hear a little like Birdie whispered something about Deshaun today.
Okay, cool. I don't think I did, so it's interesting.
He has texted a couple of the defensive guys for the Broncos.
Oh yeah, I sent that to Borf yesterday. Yeah,
he's interested in going to Denver.
I saw that on Bleacher Report. Yeah, that is interesting. That would be a man.
Why do you think? Why were the Jets listed as a destination?
He loves Robert Saleh, man. Loves him. Like that was the one guy he requested that the Houston's interview. The Houston's.
Well, not
the,
Bieniemy. He
the,
requested Bieniemy interview too.
yeah. But like the first round of interviews, he wanted the Texans to interview Robert Saleh, and they just ignored it. They didn't even give him an interview. And so whenever the Jets hired him, that was what people assumed was like, okay,
But apparently the Jets are not the favorite destination.
Yeah, that was another thing that I read was that
Miami.
people said like that
No, I'm
Deshaun
saying, like,
Watson
for
had told
Deshaun
somebody,
Watson,
yeah, like Watson
like,
had come
they're
out and
not
said
his
that
number
despite
one.
prior reports, he's not like dead set on going to the Jets. And I think it was like a Broncos safety or something that he just straight reported this himself.
Yeah, the Broncos safety said, like, he messaged Deshaun,
Yeah,
and
like
Deshaun
him
was
and Watson have
interested
been in
in going.
contact, and Watson would be interested in going there. Which, man, I mean, they've still got good defensive pieces, and that offense, dude, with Jerry Jeudy
Sutton coming back,
Sutton coming
Hamler,
back, and KJ
Melvin
Hamler.
Gordon,
Yeah, the Melvin Gordon and Philip
those
Lindsay. If
tight
Philip
ends,
Lindsay
Noah
does come
Fant,
back,
and
Noah
then
Fant.
Albert O. However you pronounce
Yeah,
his
you
last
can just
name.
stop it. Oh,
Albert O.
everybody knows him as Albert. Oh, like that offense is ready to rock. All they need is a quarterback. My God, Worf's cleaning all the hibachi shit off of him, but he's been telling me that Drew Lock's the guy. I'm like, man, no, stop it. Mr. Irresponsible, get it. You guys need to get that guy out. Yeah, if Watson stepped into that, man, they would. I mean, it's so like the only thing that would stop him is like now you're basically competing for a wild card spot though because you got to fucking deal with the Chiefs in the division. Like, and I'm still taking the Chiefs to win that division even if they get Watson.
Yeah,
It's so, but once you get a wild card spot, regardless, once you make it to the playoffs, anything can happen. But it's just like if you can find a landing spot where you don't have to deal with Mahomes in division, I feel like that would be more ideal. But
yeah, but even then, man, like football is just so fickle. Like you never, there's no such thing as a sure thing. Like you never really know. And Mahomes, like, plus not to mention their divisional battles, and I think it's almost a little more impressive what Deshaun Watson has been able to do the last year or two over what Mahomes has been able to do, given the situation that Deshaun Watson's been working in. Like he's putting up similar, if not better, numbers, and basically his team is doing everything they can to prevent him from winning.
That's Watson's the whole organization.
Yeah, like it's
not
been insane.
Team.
Where Mahomes has basically had, like, from the moment he got drafted, has basically had the red carpet rolled out. Like, oh, you want weapons? Here's weapons. You want defense? Here's defense. You want first rounders on your O line? Here's this. I mean, I know they're hurt this year, but I mean, he landed in literally the best possible situation he could have landed in. Like Deshaun Watson, it's been the exact opposite. And he's basically single-handedly like dragging that team. You know, which I'm obviously not this year, because I don't think Mahomes could have overcame there's one guy that probably could have like overcame the smell of the Houston Texans this year, and that's Tom Brady. But hold on. So let's get back in this offensive rookie of the year thing real quick. So we do agree here that it is Justin Herbert and Chase Young, just so we can not lock that down.
Yeah. That's what it's gonna be. Might not be what it needs to be, but that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah. Don't worry, Justin Jefferson. I love you. You're my
so
MVP.
we already talked about Deshaun Watson too now. So let's get into a little Carson Wentz drama.
Okay, I'll let it look. That's your boy. I'll let you kick this. And if you got any questions for me, you go right ahead.
Look, I think, man, I still think
we
Carson
texted
Wentz
about this earlier.
Yeah, I still think Carson Wentz is a very serviceable starting quarterback in the league, man. I do like it. Like whenever you saw I think Doug Peterson's weaknesses kind of got masked a little bit by Mr. Frank Wright, y'all's now head coach.
Gang.
Because whenever Frank was there as OC and calling plays and things, that offense was a well-oiled machine, and Carson Wentz was on his way to winning MVP that last season that they had Frank. Like if he wouldn't have got hurt that week 14, I believe it was.
Yeah, it was
week
December.
13 and week 14 against the Rams. I remember it well because it was against the Rams. They clocked his knee, took him out for the rest of the season. He was on his way to winning MVP easily. And I don't see any. If Nick Foles could lead them to what he did in the playoffs that year, Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than Nick Foles. Like, let's be real. All right, I know Nick Foles had that postseason magic and all that, but
Look, only one of them's got a statue
a statue of what?
outside of the stadium, and it
No
ain't Carson
shot.
Wentz.
No shot. The Eagles did not build him a statue. You're trolling me.
Bro, what? How do you not know this?
No shot. They did.
They
Dude,
put a
pull
Nick
it up
Foles
right now.
statue?
You okay? So if you're watching on YouTube, we're pulling this up.
No
Look at the
shot.
statue of it's Nick Foles and Doug Peterson, and it says, "Do you want Philly, Philly?" There
No
it is, baby.
shot. This
Right
is real?
outside the stadium.
Oh my God. Bud Light built it too. Oh fuck.
Yeah, right outside of you want Philly, Philly. Right outside the stadium.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
There's a
Okay.
statue.
Well,
Yeah, only
learned
one of them's
something
got a
from it.
statue, and it ain't
Yeah.
Carson Wentz.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, Bud Light wasted some money on that shit, but
Yeah.
Carson Wentz was on his way to winning MVP that year. He was on his way to helping lead them to a Super Bowl. And whenever Frank Wright left, the Eagles offense left with him. And seriously, look back at it, man. I mean, and
but so we're getting back into like the Stafford thing though. Is like, obviously I think Stafford is better than Carson Wentz. I'm not arguing that at all. But we're getting back into the product of an environment, and like I get it. Like Reich left, that was his boy, all that. But we talked about this earlier. Like from my point of view, like so I spent the last couple of days because of all the rumors going around. Like speaking of rumors, so hold on, let me finish this before I get off topic here, because I'm about to go on a soapbox again. So I spent the last few days watching basically every bit of Carson Wentz film I could try to get my hands on. And that dude has some major red flags that like I'm just not comfortable with him getting traded to the Colts, because he pigeon toes his front foot whenever he's throwing the ball, and it gets him into a lot of trouble. His stride is way too long. Like if he would shorten up his stride, he'd be more accurate. He's got some major accuracy issues. His hip rotation is like so inconsistent. Like he's basically having to compensate every time he throws a ball. And that's why you see so many of these interceptions this last season. Like if you watch, I mean, there's every bit of like, I think I counted like 6 or 7 interceptions that could have been completely avoided just if his mechanics were even average. Like I'm not talking about great, like I'm talking about average. Like he could have avoided at least 6 interceptions. And I don't want to spend that. Like I'm not paying $30+ million plus whatever kind of first round pick that the Eagles want. If it is a first round, because the rumors say they want a first round pick. The rumors said they actually want multiple first round picks. No fucking thanks. For $30 million quarterback.
I love Wentz, and I wouldn't do that either.
Yeah, that you're gonna have to basically try to rebuild his mechanics and rebuild his confidence. I'm not paying that for a project.
Look, and the one reason I don't think you would have to rebuild all of that if he did land with the Colts, like I'm 100% on board with you. Do not pay multiple first round picks for Wentz. I'm not even
paying like, dude, I'll give you a third if you give me Wentz and a third back.
No shot. That's no. Now you're talking a little crazy.
Yeah, if I'm taking on that contract,
I don't think you have to repair if you put him back with Frank Wright, I don't think you have to repair everything you're talking about needing to repair. The confidence, I think, repairing
he'll
that.
be comfortable too.
Yeah, exactly. The confidence part, that's done. And a lot of the mistakes he was making this year, I truly feel like he just felt like he needed to do too much. He was playing hero ball. Like,
well, yeah, I get
you've got
that. Like,
an offensive line that
into
was
a lot of trouble
full.
with that.
Like the offensive line was full of injuries. The dude was literally running for his life every snap all year, just running for his life. And then
but look at throws from a clean pocket. Like his passer rating from a clean pocket.
Yeah, but his sample size on that is a lot smaller than most of the other guys you're looking at. Like if you look at the actual numbers of throws from the clean pocket, his sample size is not as big as most of these guys that have higher completion percentages. And if you
Some of
give
these
him like,
issues are
if you
issues that
give
he
him
had,
like,
like in
if you give
previous years.
him, if you give him a strong offensive line, one of the best in the league, if he does go to the Colts, well, I'm just talking hypothetical of him going to the Colts. It sounds like he's going to the Bears, but you give him hypotheticals if he goes to the Colts. If you give him a strong offensive line, an actual run game, and an offensive minded head coach that knows how to use the run game to his advantage, and then he has offensive weapons that, like, I don't think the Colts offensive weapons are one of the best in the league, but they're better than what he was throwing to last year whenever you had Deshaun Watson hurt basically all year. You had Zach Ertz that's washed. Jalen Reagor was probably their best pass catcher, and he was a rookie. I mean, who was the Travis Fulgham? Like, what happened to Travis Fulgham? Like he just completely fell off the face of the earth. Like he was throwing to he was throwing to guys that should be on most people's practice squads, other than Reagor.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing is you're paying a premium for that position. Like
they
extended
him too early, just like
they're
the
paying
Rams
that
extended Goff
position,
too early.
and you're putting that, like, if you are truly an elite quarterback, and especially one that was on their way to winning MVP, like, you're supposed to elevate those guys. Like, you're not supposed to basically bomb, like if you don't have a perfect situation. And there's a lot more.
I don't think there's too many quarterbacks in the league that are elevating Travis Fulgham and that guy. What's the guy's name? Greg
But I'm
Ward, the guy
saying,
that
like,
used to play
there's a lot
quarterback
more
in college
behind
and
the
now he's
scenes
playing
too
receiver.
that has come out about, you know, them trying to correct his mechanics.
The whole uncoachable shit.
Yeah,
and all
he didn't
that.
want to work on it.
Yeah, but people also some stuff about that happened like a couple years ago too, where some, like, an unnamed source from the locker room said that Carson Wentz was this and that, and then somebody that came out put a name on it. I can't remember who it was, and said no, Carson Wentz is completely fine in the locker room. Like, that stuff,
his silence has been speaking volumes. He's had every opportunity
that stuff.
he's had every opportunity to come out with a bunch of these rumors and say, like, you know what, I'm committed to the Eagles. Like, I'm committed.
Why would he want to be committed to the Eagles? That place is a shit show.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't see Jalen Hurts coming out.
No, Jalen Hurts is still on a rookie contract. He ain't got time to play with that.
Yeah, look,
he needs to chill. Why would Carson Wentz want to?
So while we're getting on rumors real quick, so hold on. This is the soapbox I wanted to get off.
Like, before we get past this, I don't think Carson Wentz is like a top 5 quarterback, anything like that. I'm just saying, if you have a roster already built to win, I think Carson Wentz can help take you to the next level.
I think he would be better with the Colts than he was with the Eagles.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah,
I don't get that.
That's all I'm saying. I don't think he's like a top 5 quarterback, but
I'm not willing to pay the price to get Carson Wentz for that's not the price you pay for a maybe. That's the price you pay for, like, I'm getting an all-pro. Like, I'm getting
if they really are wanting multiple first round picks, and that's what gets it done. Yeah, like I mean, and the contract, there's a decent shot that contract wise that the Eagles might eat some of that contract, just to be able to get to offload it too. So who knows what happens with that? But
anyway, so let me get on the soapbox real quick. If I have to see one more fucking Andrew Luck rumor, I'm going to gouge my eyes out. I'm so sick of this shit. It's every fucking day on Twitter, and it's every fucking day or every off season. And it's every off season since the dude retired. I mean, it's just like, Andrew Luck's coming back. No, he's not. He's not coming back. He's retired. Just drop it. Leave the dude alone. Let him fucking grocery shop and build skyscrapers. Like nobody, like, he's not coming back to play football. So,
right.
I mean, it's just like, it's ridiculous, man. Like, I get it.
That would suck.
Like, he retired early. He's still a great quarterback. The team's built to win now. It's the perfect situation if he ever wanted to come. Like, I get it, dude. I get it more.
It would be pretty dope if he came back.
Like, I get it more than like 90% of y'all.
No, it wouldn't.
I get it, but it's not happening. And every time I log on Twitter and I see, well, my brother's wife has a friend that knows Andrew Luck's wife, and she sent these messages, and this is what it's saying. And he's going to meet with Jimmy from the Colts. Nobody calls Jim Irsay Jimmy. Like, it's Mr. Irsay. Like you don't. It's not Jimmy from the Colts. That's a red flag just right away. If you see it.
Yeah,
Like
that's
it's
somebody looking for
and then
clicks, looking to
so
try to
then
get
what
that
happens is
follower
all
count
these
up.
rumors get on Twitter, and then I start getting text messages. I literally got messaged from like 6 different people yesterday. Like, man, is this luck stuff really happening? No, it's not fucking happening. He's never coming back. Move on. It's time to get to the future. Whether it's Sam Darnold or Carson Wentz or Derek Carr or
Trading up for Justin Fields, right? Isn't that the hope?
yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
I
there was one
would
other
be a
thing
big
before we hit.
fan
There was one other thing before we hit record that I wanted you to
to
wait
elaborate.
until we hit record to elaborate on. So go ahead and hit on
So
that.
the Colts GM today, he called into a radio show today to discuss, just some different things that have been going on with the league. And he even said Andrew Luck's retired, just so you guys know. He touched on that as well. There was no meeting. It didn't happen. It's not real. He also said that with the Wentz chatter going on, like, oh, the Colts are in the lead for Carson Wentz. He also said, they're exploring options, but there's not a trade that's going to happen today. So just go ahead and move on. But he did touch on the quarterbacks in the draft. And he said this was a very strong draft. You would, and specifically, he commented on Zach Wilson, the quarterback from BYU. He called him a pretty dynamic, I think is what he officially said. He said he's a pretty dynamic player, and you would like to have a dynamic star at that position, but these guys don't just fall off trees. And they asked, how aggressive will you be? And he said there's a time to be desperate and there's a time to be aggressive. We're not going to be desperate, but if it presents itself, we will be aggressive.
So basically, if he falls a few slots farther than he should, the Colts are going to be trying to move up.
Maybe I'm like, I don't put word. I don't know. Nobody knows.
That's what that shit sounds like to me.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really watched a ton of Zach Wilson yet because I just haven't made it to all the quarterbacks. I've been focused on Justin Fields, and obviously, like, I've watched a ton of Trevor Lawrence, like, because now I'm gonna have to see him twice a year for eternity.
And he's just fun to watch too, so why not?
Fucking sucks, man. That could be like, I remember, so I saw something the other day and they were like, would the Jacksonville Jaguars trade number 1 overall for Deshaun Watson? And I'm like, dear God, no. Like, that's the worst scenario. If Jacksonville gets Deshaun Watson and then the Texans get Trevor Lawrence. And I'm just
now you still got both of them in the division.
I still got both of them in the division. I'm just like, man.
Both of you guys are shaking your head no about that one.
Man, it sucks.
Got a Colts fan and a Titans fan.
You don't know. I mean, you do because you got to play.
Hey, don't tell me shit about playing in a tough division. I don't want to hear anything.
Yeah, I was gonna. I don't feel
bad for any of you guys.
You can understand it, but like,
that's why I don't want Luck to come back.
Playing Deshaun Watson, dude, like it's every game. Like every time you go up against him, it's just like, and like we got really lucky this year with those fumbles at the goal line during both games. Like, which Darius Leonard made a great play, on one of them, but another one was just luck. So it's so hard going against it. I'm so ready for him to get out of our division.
Yep.
So please trade him, preferably to the NFC, if you don't mind. So Chicago, if you don't want to get Carson Wentz, you can go ahead and get Deshaun Watson like you should have done, 4 years ago.
Yikes.
But man, it's I don't know what's going to happen. It's fun being a Colts fan right now, and it's nerve-wracking because so this is something else he said, which I thought was very, very interesting. Like to me, this was more telling than all the other stuff. So they talk about you're in this win now, your roster's in win now mode. You're missing the quarterback. Like, how do you approach that? And he said, well, look, like this whole, like, he's like, we're not in our win now mode. Like, if you look at our roster, all of our main guys are just now hitting their mid-20s.
Yeah.
He's like, we're not in win now mode yet. We haven't hit that point in these guys' careers where we we go all in. He's like, now, obviously, you take that quote, and that's more telling to me that if they need to do a bridge quarterback this year, if they're not able to trade up, you know, just prepare yourself, guys, for Jacoby Brissett, or Andy Dalton. Like I've already prepped myself for like Jacoby Brissett rolling out there week 1. So that nothing's going to surprise me. And they apparently were in on Andy Dalton last year. They were interested in him as a backup. After they got Phillip and all that stuff. So, I mean, nothing would surprise me if, they're not able to get a quarterback in this year's draft. If they just try to get a veteran, see what happens, and maybe look at next year. Maybe you have a better draft pick instead of 21 next year. Maybe you're picking 12 or 11 and you're able to kind of move up and get, that next crop of guys. But he did say that this was a very intriguing and a very good quarterback class, and that he particularly liked Zach Wilson, and that he's a very dynamic player, and that those guys don't just fall off trees, and that they would be aggressive if they need to be aggressive. Do with that what you may. If Zach Wilson is wearing a different shade of blue other than BYU here in, a month or two, then I'm not going to be upset about it. Like I said, I've still got to watch tape on him, to kind of give a full opinion on what I think he is as a player, but it's an exciting time. So, I mean, anytime you're in that phase where you're looking for that next quarterback, that next guy, like there's always that little sense of hope. Like you always have that sense of hope. Like, well,
I had
maybe
that same sense of hope whenever the Rams traded up for number 1. I thought it was going to be Carson Wentz.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's definitely that opportunity for them to completely fuck it up. But I trust Chris Ballard to do the right thing.
And no reason not to at this point.
Yeah, unless he trades for Carson Wentz, because then I'm just going to be like, well, we're fucked. So I don't hate Carson Wentz. I just don't think Carson.
That's the only thing I've gotten from this conversation is you hate Carson Wentz.
I don't
he
hate
is the bottom
Carson
of
Wentz.
the barrel.
I just don't think Carson Wentz is going to put us in a position to win a Super Bowl. I think it's a huge waste of time.
Well, yeah, I don't disagree with you on that part. I don't disagree with you because you're still trying to compete with Patrick Mahomes. And,
I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to be stuck. I think we touched on this in the last episode. Like, I don't want to be stuck in this fucking
Jeff Fisher
8-8, 7-9, 9-7 bullshit with a $30 million quarterback for the next 2 or 3 years. Like,
I don't disagree with you at all on that part at all.
Like, you either go and get a guy that you think can help you win a Super Bowl, or you sign a veteran for a cheap contract like Phillip Rivers or Andy Dalton, one of these other guys, and you run it out there and see what happens until you're able to get that quarterback. Like, you don't just settle at that position. There's a difference between getting a quarterback and getting the right quarterback. Like, those are two completely different things. And people don't understand that, especially people on Twitter, like where you just have, it's just like fucking hot take central. People just don't understand. That's basically what's happening with the Chiefs right now. Like, they had Alex Smith as a placeholder, good quarterback, not going to get you all the way, but can get you into the playoffs. And
they traded up and got their guy.
Yeah, and who knows what's going to happen, once you get into the playoffs. Anything can happen. I mean, the Giants won 2 Super Bowls off of, fuck it, let's get in and just see what happens. So, I mean, if you get a guy that, a veteran that can take you to the playoffs like the Chiefs did, then great. And then you hold that position until you're able to get aggressive and you get your guy. Well, they got their guy. And it's obviously not always going to work out like Patrick Mahomes. There's been plenty of instances where teams trade up for these guys and it doesn't work out. But that's the risk you take. And if you're not ready, if you're not convinced that one of these guys can lead your franchise to a Super Bowl, you don't just trade, you don't trade just to trade. So that's just where I stand on that. And sorry if I got on the soapbox.
No, what I was going to say.
I was going to say, Lanny, I know you've been waiting to talk, so hop on here.
Oh no, I was just going to comment because you had said, well, they're not in rebuild mode, they're not in win now mode. But then you make the comment about just money aside on Wentz. You make the comment, well, who's going to lead you to the Super Bowl? Well, Zach Wilson probably won't, and Carson Wentz, you already know what you have in him, and I hope reconnecting he'll be more comfortable if that's where he ends up, with Frank. But it's like kind of cancel itself out if you're like, well, he's not going to lead you to Super Bowl, but you're not in win now mode, so that's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but here's the thing with that is like we've seen Carson Wentz like at his best. We've seen Carson Wentz at his worst. He probably lies somewhere in the middle of that, to be honest. And what he is as a player. Now, is that player, what at his average, is that player going to be good enough to lead our roster to a Super Bowl? I don't think so. And especially for the money you're paying, because then what happens is you're paying him all that money. You're going to have to let some of these other guys who are key components of that Super Bowl run walk, because you're not going to be able to pay everybody because you got so much money tied up in an average quarterback. Zach Wilson, on the other hand, you don't know what he is. If you're convinced that he can be Patrick Mahomes, if he can be Tom Brady, then you go get him. If it doesn't work out, you're probably out of a job, but that's the risk you take as a GM.
Yeah. I mean, the ideal Super Bowl winning formula in the NFL is you build a roster that is a quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl, and then you hit on a quarterback on a rookie contract to where he's cheap, to where you can surround him with talent, because quarterbacks are never really good quarterbacks are never cheaper than they are on their rookie deals. So you find a quarterback on a rookie deal that you think is good enough to win a Super Bowl, and then you build a team around him that is good enough to get, to finish the job. And
Russell Wilson, basically.
Yeah. Russ in his time in Seattle. Exactly.
But now you see what's happening in Seattle when Russell Wilson's got that paycheck.
Yeah. They just keep they keep getting smacked around by the Rams. It's a damn shame.
That's why
I'm just saying, like, they had to let all those guys walk. Cam Chancellor left, Earl Thomas, the whole situation there. Sherman dipped out, Browner. Like, they basically had to lose their entire defense.
Yeah, they went from the Legion of Boom to the Legion of Oof.
Yeah. And I mean, and you see where that's left Seattle. They're a good enough squad to make the playoffs, but do you trust Seattle? I mean, he's already 31, 32 years old. So he's already hitting his early 30s, and that mobility is going to start declining here in the next few years, which he's obviously a great quarterback. He can make plays from the pocket as well. I'm not worried about that, but I'm just saying, do you see Seattle winning the Super Bowl, in the near future, like within the next couple seasons?
No.
Probably not. And that's the risk you take. Now, they got to 2 Super Bowls. They won one of them when he was on his rookie contract.
Yep.
That's what you want.
That's the idea.
Yep. Yeah. And if you do end up hitting on one of these guys, like Brady or Mahomes, or like, you're always going to be in contention. That's all you can do, is put yourself in the best possible scenario to make the playoffs, win your division, and be
once you get in, anything can happen.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just you got to put yourself in the best possible scenario to get in.
Yeah.
And then that's whenever you can have some luck, or some of these great players can kind of, decide games and stuff like that. But I mean, it can go the other way. Like, Aaron Rodgers has won Super Bowl. They've been in the playoffs pretty consistently over the last 10 years, and they've just had some bad luck fall their way. Now, does that mean you don't want Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback on your team just because they've won one Super Bowl and because they haven't made a Super Bowl? No, it's not.
Obviously, the Rams were asking.
Yeah, I would have been over the moon to have Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback. And the only other quarterback really in the trade, in the trade rumors right now, outside the guys we talked about, is Derek Carr, and I think he kind of falls under the who cares category of.
Well, I mean, so I don't think he falls under who cares. I would honestly probably rather have Derek Carr over Carson Wentz, like, to be completely honest.
Why?
I think Derek Carr. I mean, I think I have a better chance of having more consistency with Derek Carr than I do.
Consistently going 8-8, maybe, but like.
No, I mean, I think he's.
I think Wentz has
more PFF. I mean, he was PFF's number 8 quarterback this year. I mean,
I think Wentz has more upside.
So I mean, if you want to talk about PFF, there's.
I like most of what Pro Football Focus does. I don't agree with every single thing they put out every single day, but I think that they do good work. But
so I think Derek Carr. I mean, I think he's a very good quarterback. I don't think he's great, but
I think he falls in the good, like okay to good category. You
Yeah,
know, like
I think he's good to very good. I think he has games where he can be very
okay.
good.
So you're just a little higher on Carr than
Yeah,
I am.
yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't think by any means he's leading you to, he's Super Bowl MVP Derek Carr.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying is you don't know. I mean, that's the problem with trading with these veteran guys, is because most of them, like, what they are. Like you've seen them play for years in this league. And are they as good as what they are? No. Are they as bad as what they seem sometimes? No. That's where the situation they're in can kind of play. Everybody probably
Right.
lies somewhere in the middle of where their perception
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Um,
I think, like, even though I like Wentz, I think the best way for you guys to go is if an opportunity presents yourselves to go get your guy in the draft.
yep,
I think that's the
I
best move
agree.
for the
I am
Colts.
team trade up all day. Like
Yeah.
I'm team trade up. That's what I hope happens.
Yeah, I mean, my thing, you could even transition again because you could bring in like Andy Dalton, draft your Wilson, have Andy Dalton do another 1 year, and
Or Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's out there. He's a free agent. Ryan Fitzpatrick is like the bridge quarterback of all bridge quarterbacks, man. Like, bring him in, let your guy learn from Fitz for a little bit, and let your guy lean in to do his thing. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be like the NFL season truly never stops, man. Like, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl, that we got. So our next show, we're going to record Monday night, the night after the Super Bowl. And then right after that, there's going to be more free agency to talk about, more drafts to talk about. I'm sure more trades to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the
You
NFL never
guys think you've
stops.
seen me in football season. That's not even my favorite part of football. Wait until I get into draft season. Like that is my absolute. If I could have one job in the NFL, it would be to be a general manager. It'd be to be player operations, scouting, GM,
The head of scouting or something like
yeah,
that. That would
yeah.
be a lot of
Like
fun.
I love it. Like I can't get enough of it. I'll literally sit here in front of my screen, my phone, my computer. I'll put it up here on the big screen here, and I'll literally just sit there and just watch all 22 film. Like that's all I do. And I get made fun of like in my own house because it's just like, did you just watch the game the other day? Why are you watching it again? It's like, no, it's different.
Yeah, the all 22 experience is different.
Dude, it's so good. I think I've talked to Lanny about it. We've messaged about all 22 a couple of times because he didn't know what it was a few weeks ago. But yeah, man, dude, I love watching like scouting quarterbacks, and that's what I love. Like I love scouting quarterbacks more than specifically anything because I'm really high on like guys with really nice mechanics that I can just sit and watch throw a football. Like it's art. That's literally what it is to me. It's art. And there's nothing better in the world just relaxing with a glass of bourbon or a beer and deep diving.
Hell, you're gonna make me cry too.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it is, man. Like that's just my passion.
Love this shit.
That's what I love to do. That's what I
Look,
love to do.
Aaron Donald.
A lot of like some guys, like every now and then.
We'll cry over Aaron Donald, bro.
Yeah,
what do you
man,
mean
like,
make you cry? Like watching him play makes
some
me
guys
want
like
to
to
cry.
golf. I like to shoot around to golf every now and then. I like to play video games every now and then. I'll watch other sports. I'll turn on a basketball game every now and then. But I say 80% of the time, I'm watching football tape. That's what I love to do.
Okay, so
that's why I'm so good at fantasy football. That's all I do.
Same.
There's no in between. Like I study just constantly.
With the trade rumors going around, I just get that real itch to just fuck my team up.
What would it be involved in some trade rumors myself?
Don't listen to anything Drew says. Motherfucker's got every first round pick every year. He's a con artist.
Hey, fantasy football and real football aren't the same for me. If people are here to trade first round, early first round picks in the dynasty league, I'm here to trade for them. I'll take them.
Well, okay. Well, then while you're here, so I had a trade with Lanny, which I mean we never went through with it, but I'm curious to see your rule here.
So we still got time.
Would you take DeAndre Swift and 202 for pick 103?
So that's really team based, and it kind of depends on. I know Lanny in the league you're talking about specifically, he really needs running back help. So that would be really intriguing for Lanny because DeAndre Swift, presents running back help, but
Well, you also got 202. Like you got a high.
yeah, and that was
I got what 111 too.
That was right around 202 is like right around, I think 201 is where I got Antonio Gibson last year.
I got 2 first-round picks.
So yeah, it's situated. The NFL, like trades like this, I need the NFL draft to happen before I can be really comfortable with saying, what's what. But like Lanny's playing the long game right now, man. And like, he's rebuilding. And whenever you're rebuilding, wide receivers have the longest shelf life in terms of dynasty. And there's going to like Najee Harris and Travis Etienne are going 101 and 102. Regardless of landing spot, I don't think that's going to change in most dynasty leagues, in my opinion, which is going to leave a couple of really, really special wide receivers at the 103, where Lanny's rebuilding and he could get, an extremely, extremely good young asset at 103. And he's not hurting for picks really. He's got picks later on too, to where if an Antonio Gibson like player, lands in a good spot, but he kind of falls down like Gibson did, he could possibly grab that at the 111 or something like that. Like if Kenneth Gainwell or one of the 2 running backs from North Carolina or something like that, they land in a spot to where you could do that. He could grab a generational type wide receiver at 103
let me look
and still possibly scoop that up.
Because I am curious about something right now. So where was Justin Jefferson drafted last year?
110.
Yeah, so right around. So he's got 111. So would you rather have Jamar Chase, or would you rather have DeAndre Swift and Justin Jefferson and pick 202?
Well, I mean, no one will be known now. That would be easy, but it's not.
Right,
it's
exactly.
not that cut and dry, though.
So yeah, so with
Justin Jefferson isn't plugged in at the 111 every single year.
Right.
Like
but I mean, this is a very deep and a very good wide receiver class. I mean,
sure.
So I mean, there's possibly the same thing. Oh no, he was picked 111 by Curtis.
I was okay. 110, 111. Yeah. Okay.
So he was picked at 111, Justin.
Because I took Ruggs at 10, I think.
Oof. You got to hit on them picks, man. That's the thing. That's the danger. Is like, yeah, you got them picks, but you got to hit those picks. Or
he already said he's going to do
DeAndre
better.
Swift. You got that there. But according to Twitter, I think 90. Because I asked this question to one of my Twitter polls, and there was like I think 50, 60 something votes on it. 93% of people would rather have the DeAndre Swift 202 pick over 103.
The known commodity is nice with Swift. He's a good running back.
Well, and like especially now with the workload. This is before all the news broke with all this. This was like a month ago, I think. Or about when was this? When did we talk about this, Lanny? About 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So before the Stafford news and all that shit. So yeah, it's knowing now, like I don't think I would do that trade myself, just because I think DeAndre Swift's about to just get like a massive workload. Plus, having 202, I could possibly pick up another wide receiver. I was just looking to try to kind of fortify my wide receiver 2 spot because I got Jefferson there, but I've got Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel, Jarvis Landry, Michael Pittman. What's up, Borf? What's up, Borf? You gonna hop on this headset?
He said Brady about to lose.
That's what he's been saying. Brady about to lose for like 15 years.
He said you've been saying Brady about to lose for like 15 years.
Every year, motherfucker just ends up in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I don't think that's a bad trade either way, though. To be honest with you, I mean, it just all comes down to like if I'm playing the long game, man, and I got a shot at Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith, it's like with Dynasty. The way the Dynasty works and with wide receiver having a longer shelf life, if you believe in one of those 2 guys the way that I strongly believe in one of them, I'm not going to spoil who, but if you believe in one of those 2 receivers the way that I believe in one of them, and you're playing the long game, you're rebuilding, it's tough not to take not to take the guy right there and lock that in, because there's a lot of leagues where one of those 2 receivers are going to go one-on-one.
I think it's my brain wanting to pair Jamar Chase with Justin Jefferson to have that LSU connection. Like in my brain, like I want that to happen on my team. So I think that's more or less what it is. But I think if I have to sit down and take it, like I'm probably taking Swift plus the wide receiver I can get at 202 because it is a deep class again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these
And
last 2
I'm,
years have been a
and
lot
I'm,
of
I'm
fun for
like I'm
receivers.
super deep at running back, especially like I got 4 RB1s pretty much, and then
Well, it's not locked in for next year,
well,
but
not next
you
year, but
did
I'm
this
just saying
past
like
year
in
though.
general, like this past season, I've got Jonathan Taylor, James Robinson, Gibson, and Swift, but then Gus Edwards is a free agent, and I think he can do a very great job depending on where he goes. If he's ever gets a lead back opportunity, I think he can really take off. I think he might have been. I think he was one of the top 5 graded running backs by PFF this season. Gus Edwards was so. I like my running back room, but my wide receiver room, I'm a little like if Debo Samuel I knew was going to be healthy next year, I would be comfortable with it. But that's my biggest question mark is his health. Um,
Yeah.
so, but I mean, we can save all this for a fantasy show, but because we can go another hour on this.
Yeah, we're hitting that point. Well, I mean, next time we talk, we're going to be talking about who won the Super Bowl, all the if, ands, or buts, all the conspiracy theories, all that stuff. We're going to have plenty of stuff to talk about.
Something's gonna
So,
happen, man. I'm
and it's
telling
only
you,
going to
it's gonna be
be,
something
we only got a
crazy.
few more nights. Normally we got a week between podcasts, but now, it's Friday night. So we only got 3 more nights until we're talking
Yeah,
about the
I
Super
mean,
Bowl, only 2 more
look, we
days
might
until
we
we're
might
watching the
actually
Super
need to
Bowl.
do this
So,
on Sunday night because my ass is going on vacation starting Monday. So I'm gonna be
okay.
down in Arkansas
Oh,
Monday night.
okay. All right. We can talk about that. Yeah, we can make that happen.
Yeah, so we might be releasing a podcast. Might be just doubling up.
Just a
So
couple of days away
a couple
then.
days away. So
All right. Well, hey, all you guys that made it through all this jibber jabber and all this bullshit, we appreciate you listening. Check us out on Apple. Check us out on Spotify. Be sure to go to YouTube to get all the visuals. We got all these pretty backgrounds provided by random Google searches
hey,
and all of our faces. If you do go to YouTube, be sure to click the subscribe button. Be sure to ring the bell that pops up so you can be notified whenever we post new podcasts. And if you like the video, then like the video.
like the video.
The likes and the comments and all that
Please
that helps us
comment. Yeah,
out.
man. Like
Yeah,
comment.
and
We've had one video where you guys like really commented on, and then the other ones have been a little quiet. So
they get some decent, like the views are pretty comparable, but people aren't commenting. So if you
yeah,
disagree
so
with something we're saying, man, comment and tell it. Like we're very talkative. We want to clap at us and we'll clap back. So
I want
Just don't break up.
smoke.
you just don't
Don't
bring up
break up.
Aaron Donald because my
Yeah, don't
fingers
break up Aaron
fingers
Donald.
hurt. Like if you bring up Aaron Donald, my fingers gonna start
Or
hurting with all the
Andrew
typing
Luck.
I got to do.
Yeah, don't bring up Andrew Luck. I don't want to hear that name
Those 2
again.
topics, you guys are pretty safe. So, let us know where you disagree, where you agree, all that good stuff, man. The likes and the comments and all that, they help us out too. And it gives us something to talk about in between shows. And, if you guys got ideas about stuff you want us to talk about and stuff like that, tell us that too. All that helps. We're about to kind of hit the area where I want to talk about baseball all day,
Yeah, I was
but
gonna
other
say like
people
I'm
might not,
I'm
you
about to
know.
hit this baseball area soon. Like
So,
I'm waiting.
give us some ideas, give us some shit to talk about. But and anyway, Landon, you're the one that always signs us off. I'm gonna turn it over to you, let you do your
All
thing.
right. Well, I appreciate it, fellas. I appreciate everybody listening. Lanny, thanks for coming on again.
You're welcome.
We look to having you back as always. And all the listeners out there, we'll catch you here in a few days. Have a good one.